How's it going, y'all? I hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome back to a Web Dev Junkie video. So in this video, I'm basically just going to try to build out the first kind of section of this landing page. If you follow the YouTube channel CodingPhase, I recommend that you do follow it if you don't. But he is basically trying to start like an internship and have people apply. And in order to get your foot in the door, you have to be able to prove that you can actually build something simple. Although this is kind of complex in my opinion, but so I wanted to kind of practice just my skills of like how long would it take me to build out at least the first section. Doing this whole page might take me some time, so I'm not going to focus on that. But yeah, let's just jump right into it and see how far I can get. Just building out this first little section, maybe have these platforms down here also built out. Yeah, so I'm going to set up an HTML file and I'm going to host it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me see what my zoom setting is. Usually I do 3 for my recording, so I'll do a 3. And then I should be able to go to localhost 8080. All right. So 87 lux, change the title, refresh it, shows up there. So yeah, what we're trying to do, I also recommend that you use Bootstrap. So I'm gonna go ahead and just find CDN with Bootstrap. So I can just include that CSS and kind of hit the ground running. So Bootstrap min CSS, that's the one I need. I don't need the JavaScript really. So inside the header, I'm just going to go ahead and pull that in, paste that in there. All right, let's make sure this is loading. No errors, so I think we're good. I think we loaded the Bootstrap. Yeah, so to start off, I'm also going to make a style.css file. We can kind of style our code there. And I will import that like so and get rid of the margin on the body, which is always on the page for some reason. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. So to start off, looking at his design, he has a header at the top, a white header with some border shadow or box shadow, I guess I could say. And you have a left icon over here or a title, and then on the right you have some links, I guess. So to build this out, let's just go ahead and copy the CSS from Figma. So quick recap, I'm looking at something called Figma, which designers can use to basically style out a web page, and then coders can come and try to code up the page using the design. And luckily in Figma, it's all web-based, so everything you do has like a style attached to it. So literally, if you go over here and copy this, I can go to my page, I can make a header, and I could style that header, paste all that stuff in. We don't really care about the width or position, left or right. Let's refresh the page and see how that looks. It might not show up because... Why is that not showing up? I didn't save my index file. I should probably get some live reload working, but I'm too lazy to get that set up. So let's just keep on hitting the ground running. Inside of this header, it looks like there is a container, a Bootstrap container, so I could just simply in the header, I can go down here and I could do container. And then we want to basically put a logo, so 87 lux, all caps, my bad. And then also on the right, he has some links. So I'm just gonna copy these. I need to click them first and then say copy as text, and we can put that in a div. I'll paste that in. I'll wrap this in a div as well. All right, so that lays it out top and bottom, but we kind of want to make them left align and right align. So I think we can use flexbox and just push them with space between. So inside of this, maybe I'll make another div. I might be able to put it on the container, but not really sure. On the class, I'm going to say D for display. I'll say flex, and I'll say justify content between. And I think that should push them. All right, so that pushes them through the left and the right. And also what we want to do is we probably want to add some padding to this. So looking up here, if you hover over these in Figma, usually it tells you there's 15 pixels padding on top. On the header, I will say padding top 15 pixels. And I think there's a little bit more, so let's just add like 17. Now, if we look at the styles for this, probably makes sense to just copy the font family and all that stuff. So in the header, and I'm going to put a logo class. I'm going to paste that stuff in. And I'm going to apply a class of a logo to that. And then here we could put like links or navigation, I guess. I think links is cool. So that looks better. Now the font is messed up. We can change that in a second. But for the links, let's just go ahead and grab this as well. We can kind of clean this up in a bit. Alright, so one thing you'll notice is that the font family he's using is Open Sans. So Google Web Fonts. Let's see if we can find Open Sans. Let's just go ahead and grab like all the typical ones. We probably want bold, semi-bold. That's probably good enough, to be honest. So copy that link. I'm going to put it up in my header. It might need to be before my style sheet, so let's move it up. And then to use it, you basically just apply a font family to whatever. So in this case, I'm going to apply it to the body, and I think that should apply to everything on the page. So that looks... looks okay, I guess. I think this could use some more padding, but... yeah, I'm going to put some more padding on the links. Padding top. I'll do like 4 pixels. If that looks okay. I think that looks a little bit better. So for the font family, we don't need to put all this stuff on. Font weight and style normal. Let's see. Right on. Alright, let's move on to the next section. So this is like the main landing page, and we need to have a title here that says this. You'll notice here there's probably 2 columns. There's a column on the left, like a bootstrap column, and then also a bootstrap column over here. There's probably tons of ways you can style this if you want, but I'm just going to focus on, I guess, using columns. So going to the HTML, I'm going to make a section here. And I'm going to make a... I guess I should probably do a container again. And do a row, do a column. And I'll make 2 columns. And let's just copy this text and paste that as like an H1 inside of this. Let's see how this looks. Alright, so one thing you'll see here is that there's like 204 height between this. I guess this is margin and padding, minus the height of the header. I think it's at 241 when I hovered over something. So we could add some 241 margin to the top of this. So for this section, let's call it hero, I guess. Be fine. And margin top could be 140 pixels. Now another thing you'll notice about this is that the font family is League Gothic here. So let's just go ahead and copy this stuff in for the H1 actually. So let me just go ahead and cut this out. I'll say hero H1, paste that stuff in. And what we could do is find some type of Gothic font. I don't think they have exactly what he was using in that Figma, so I'm just going to grab this one and hopefully it looks good. Alright, so I'll copy this link and I will overwrite the style that we have here. And then also, if you wanted to use it, you just grab the font family of Gothic 1, paste that in, let's see how that looks. Okay. Looks better, looks better. I think the spacing between the letters is less in the Figma, maybe a little bit. And it looks like it's bold. Maybe we could put like font weight of bold here. I'm just gonna say call 6 instead of call. It might just do the same thing. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I just need to reduce the size a little bit of it, but for some reason there's like not enough space and it's wrapping. guess that looks better. I don't know. This font definitely looks a little bit different, so it's not going to line up perfectly unless I can find where he got that font. But let's just move on to the next section. So I'm going to copy this text, and I'm going to put like a paragraph tag under this, I guess. Or it could be like an H2. I don't know if it really matters. I'll put an H2 there. Then we could style it. Let's see. What font size? He's using 18 font size for this. Line height of 25. We also changed the color, so let's grab that too. Font weight of bold. All right, let's just grab all this. All right, let's see how this looks. Yeah, it looks okay. Not too bad. All right, so let's move on to the input box. So again, copy those goodies. We'll put an input here. A placeholder that says, enter your email address. Okay, and then we can style that. So I can say hero input is equal to that. Left and right we can get rid of, or left and top, I mean position we get rid of. Yeah, let's see how this looks. So ours has a border on it, so let's just remove the border. I can say border of none. Now, there's definitely some more margin between these things, so I don't know, we could add like 20. So for the input or the H2, I can say margin bottom 20 pixels and see if that looks pretty good. I could also always just inspect the element if I need to get like exact and say, okay, maybe this needs to be like a 30, and then look at the styling. 44 between this and this line, but yeah, it's probably like a 20 or 30. I'll do 24. And then same thing with this. This probably has more margin too. This has 20. And what we're looking at probably has... Yeah, probably not that much more. So I can just add like margin of 10 pixels maybe. Now the input box, the placeholder text color is gray, but in ours it's like darker black. So CSS placeholder text color. I need to look this one up because I don't obviously do this that much. Looks like you can do this. I could target the input. So hero input placeholder. And the color needs to be whatever that is. Alright, and then also there's some padding on this thing, so it looks like there's like 20 pixels padding on the left. So I could say padding left 20 pixels, padding top, bottom. I like to be explicit, 16 actually. I'll just do 15. Cool, and then finally I guess we could just add this button down here. So let's just add a button that has this similar styling. So here I'll add a button and it says, what does it say? Get started. So hero button. Don't need left or top. Go back and see how this looks. Alright, so get rid of the border and add a color white. Border of none, color of white. And then again, we probably need some margin underneath the input box, so I'm going to go ahead and just add some margin bottom. 20 pixels might be okay. Nope. Do 30 pixels. How much is this? I think it's I think I saw a 31. Yeah, 31. So 30 should be good. Now for the right side, I think our all this looks pretty good. I mean, it's not exact, but it's good enough, right? And then on the right side, we need to build out this stuff. So this should be pretty fun. I think most of these shapes you can do with just CSS and HTML, and luckily I've been doing so many code battles or CSS battles that I've learned a lot about these. So I'm going to start with the actual like background circles first and move my way up in terms of z-index. So let's start with the yellow circle here. So inside the other column, I'm going to add a div called yellow circle. And then we can start styling that. So hero, yellow circle, border, I'm going to make it round, so border radius of 50%. And if we click on it in Figma, it should tell us like the gradient and the box shadow. So I'll copy those over, and the width and heights there as well. So yeah, just copy those things in. I don't know if we want to keep the left and the top, probably not. Alright, it's not showing up. I don't think I saved the HTML. Nice. Alright, let's move on to this teal one. I'll say teal circle. Teal circle. I'm going to basically copy this and just put teal circle. Because the main difference is probably, you know, it's probably a lot of differences, so I'm just going to paste these all in. And we're going to style these in a second to like position them correctly. And then finally we need like this triangle. So let's just go ahead and add a triangle with the same width and height. So div class is blue triangle. Let's style it. Now to get a triangle in CSS, you could do something called CSS path. Clip path? I think it's clip path. So down at the bottom, you might be able to see it. They give you an example of how to do a triangle. So I'm just going to copy that in just like that. Make sure I save my index file and go back and save that. And that is how you get that cool tilted triangle. So at this point, you notice that the width and the height of all these shapes affected the flow of my grid. So I need to actually make these probably a column 6. There we go. And then as I scale down, it should drop. Well, I probably need to work on the responsiveness in a second, but let's try to style these. So this circle looks like it's moved up and to the right. So I can give it a position of absolute for the yellow circle, position of absolute, and top is, no, let's just see where it pops up when we do absolute. Now on this, I think we need to give a position relative to these components. Oh, they might already be relative, so let me add absolute to all these. Alrighty, so for the triangle, it looks much bigger than the Figma. But anyway, let's move it up. I guess I'm starting the triangle now. I said I was going to start with the circle, but I'm going to do the triangle. So I'm going to say top of negative 100 pixels and see where that puts us. So I'll do 150. You can see in the Figma, it's like touching the assets. It might actually be behind it by a little bit. Assets and app. Yeah, also z-index of -1 because it needs to be behind the header. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is on the header, I'm going to say z-index of 1. And I probably need to say position of relative here. There we go. Yeah, so let's try to... This still looks so big. Let me zoom out some. Maybe I'm just like... No, my triangle's way too big. Let's scale it down just a little bit. I think you can actually do multiple, so I can scale like 0.7. I think that's how you can scale it and also rotate it. Nope. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just reduce the width here. How about that? Oh, that looks, I think that looks better. And then I could just move it to the left some. Maybe 30 pixels. Nope. All right, let's do like 70 pixels. Now some people say like, why don't I just use the editor over here to change the styles? The thing is like sometimes you end up adding like 5 styles to your component and then you forget to save it and then you lose all those styles. So I like to just edit them directly in the code, save the code, refresh the page. That's just my workflow. It seems to work for me. So, all right, the yellow circle, let's move that thing up. So the yellow circle, I'm gonna say top of negative 100 pixels and left of 100 pixels and see where that puts us. You know, that was pretty close. I would probably drop it by like 20 pixels of each. Yeah, that looks better, I guess. And for the teal one, let's move that maybe to the right 200. Nope. Yeah, there it is, it's just peeking out a little bit. Now for the top, I'll say 80 pixels. Yeah, this needs to be like 120, and this needs to be like more 320. That's close enough in my opinion. I'm not a perfectionist, so I'm also not trying to get an internship as his thing, so this is just my practice. You could probably spend hours trying to perfect this, but as long as it looks close enough or good, in my opinion, you've made it. Alright, now for the last part, we gotta put this little like video icon. So in Figma, you can actually click on this little button here, the table button. And you know what, my head is probably covering all the styles down here. I need to put a sticky note on my screen so I don't forget that I'm covering stuff. But if you just click on this, it'll load up an image, and then I could save it. Yeah, so I'll just say like meeting. So now I should be able to load that image in, and you could do it like a background image on a div, or just bring in the image. I don't know what the better approach is. I'm not a front-end expert. I'll be honest with you all. I started like with back-end stuff and like the heavy coding stuff and databases, and I'm slowly moving towards the front end just so I can understand more about design and stuff like that. But anyway, let's just do an image and see how that looks. So image source, meeting.jpg. Save it. Gigantic. So let's go ahead and style that. So I can say hero image. Width is, what is the width of this thing? 561. And then also the height is about 300. Cool, so that looks good, except for it is covered up by everything. Yeah, I guess the z-index is messed up. Let's do z-index of like 1 here. See if that fixes it. Nope. Make sure you do position relative on your... There we go. So that's a little bit too big. What we should probably do is scale it down maybe by 30 pixels or something. And then what we could also do is add that gradient. You know, this is probably why you need a div. This might need to be a div actually. So I'm going to say like make it a class of meeting, div class equals meeting, and paste that in. And instead of putting source here, we could include it here. So this is meeting.jpg. Now it's huge, the background size is too big, so let's say background size, I think I can do contain, or is it cover? I think contain is going to duplicate it, cover is probably what we want. Yeah, that looks better. Alright, so ours, I think their triangle's bigger. Again, I don't want to get into like being a perfectionist here. I just wanted to get it to be kind of close enough. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I won't complain. Alright, so the last thing is, I think he wanted this to be like a video thing. But honestly, I could just, right now, I'm just going to add this like circle maybe? Play button. Let's just try to add a circle in it. So inside of this meeting div, we could add another div, call it play. And then we could just style it. So hero meeting play. Keep forgetting I need to scroll for you all. Position of absolute and border radius of 50% to make it round, background white. What else does it have here? Got a box shadow. It's got a width and a height. Let's add that in too. There's our little button. And now what we can also do on meeting itself, we could say display of flex, I believe. Justify, content, center, align items, center. And that should hopefully position that thing in the center. Now we could try to find a play icon on Google Images and just use that. I really just want the arrow. This, that's not a PNG. I need transparent. This one's transparent. Let's save this one. Call it here. I'll call it play. And we could add a, I don't know if we can add a background color to this button or if we need to like nest. Let's just put another element here. Inside the play button, we're gonna put another element. And we're gonna call it play. Now you could probably include like Font Awesome to do this stuff for you because this approach probably doesn't work as well. But I'm just gonna style that button and just make it really small. Let's see. Yeah, it's too big. You know, I could also say like width of, I think 100%. Height of 100% maybe? Will that make it scale into the... No, that didn't work as I thought it would. Just so that if we ever change the play button circle, okay, that looks better. And again, for this, we could say, do all this flex stuff so that it gets centered inside. Here we go. Our play button is way too big. I'm gonna say 30%. Ooh, that's too small, but whatever. Yeah, and then there's just like some other finishing touches to do this. I mean, we could like have a hover state on this if we wanted to change stuff. What else could we do? So I wanted to focus on being responsive. I'm actually not going to focus on this platform section. I'm going to try to make this responsive. And by using Bootstrap, oh, one thing you'll notice is that as you scale down, the header's like, it's wonky. You know what I'm saying? Like what we want to do is we want to truncate that extra space with overflow of X or something. So on the body, I think I could say like overflow X is hidden. No, that's not how you do it. How do you do that? Let's see. On this one, just put a wrapper here. I don't know if this is the best way to do this. Where's the yellow circle? All right, so hero, wrapper, overflow, X is hidden. Nope. That is not how you do it. Is it hero I'm looking for? I know I need to do some type of overflow. Is that how you do it? Yeah, I broke it. I don't think that was what I wanted to do. You know what? It's almost like I want to say like put the wrapper over everything. Now this is the point where I'm asking my subscribers to let me know what I should do, but I'm just going to put all the sections in a wrapper here. So I'll do this. Why is my auto formatting not working? Need to figure that out. Alright, there we go. I think that fixed it. So as you can see, as you scale the page down in terms of like your width, it's just truncating the image. And what we want to do is you probably want to scale down or just put it onto a new page below. So I think using maybe like breakpoints, we could achieve something like that. But let's try to do like an MD. So for small, this would be like 12. That totally got all messed up. But for larger, I say MD of 6 maybe. This is how you do like responsive with Bootstrap, so that as your page gets larger, it'll break. Alright, so I would probably put the breakpoint here, or you could do a width that's based on your view width, so you can kind of scale down the image as you get closer to that breakpoint. There's a lot of options, but I think that looks okay. So what we kind of want to do here is we probably want to add a lot more margin to this when we're at a certain breakpoint. And one way you could do it, just add a div with like spacing on it. And we could say display of medium hidden. So hide it if it's medium or up. It might need to be a large, I don't know. But let's just style that spacing and say height of 400 pixels. This is probably super hacky. Pixels. I don't know why it's not going to the new page now. Like, I think I need to choose different breakpoints. This one probably needs to be like large of 6. There we go. And then probably be nice to center all this stuff if it breaks down to that. Alright, so let's look at this. And this we're using something like absolute positioning. I don't know how this is going to work out. But ultimately what you want to do is you probably want to try to center all these. Let's see if we do like be a flex on this. Justify contents center. That looks okay. It's not perfect, but since I need to wrap this tutorial up because my child's waking up, I'm just going to make this a flex when you become a medium. Or is it a flex? Let me put this in a wrapper. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to wrap all that stuff. So when it's smaller, it's going to be flex. Otherwise, it's going to be block for like larger. Oh, let me do medium. Maybe it needs to be large. I don't know. This looks okay. So again, as you kind of scale down, it'll hit a breakpoint and just push that content to the column underneath it, or the row underneath it. And I would definitely spend a lot more time making this look nicer, because the triangles and the circles are kind of not where they need to be. Honestly, I'd probably make this an image or something, so I could just easily center the image versus like having these be different shapes. Or if anyone knows, leave a comment below and tell me a better way to do this. But you'll notice that as you get too small, stuff gets really wonky. Like if you go to like iPhone 5, this video is all messed up. Oh, the input's also really messed up too. Let me just fix that really quick and I'm gonna wrap this tutorial up. So if I go to the input, the width is a little bit too big. So what you can also do is you could say like, kind of make the input like responsive. So I could say that this is the max width. So there's a thing on CSS where you can put like max. This is the max of it. Otherwise you want to do like 2VW, 4VW and see how that looks. That didn't work out too well. Oh, I guess we need to do min. Yeah, okay, let's try like 50 VW. Play a block. Alright, it's like messed up. Alright, so as you increase the width of your page, you notice the input box gets a little bit smaller. And then we probably also want to make sure that there's like a minimum size it gets to. So we could also say like max of 240 pixels and then that. So that it can't like scale down where the placeholder's not seen. Do that. And then I would probably also, like if you're on mobile, I would move all this space, I would move this thing up. Alright, well, I'm gonna wrap this tutorial up. I could spend a lot of time making this like really perfected and stuff, but this is just a fun thought experiment and exercise to improve my abilities with design and just building out web pages off of Figma. So anytime I see a Figma that people are kind of challenging themselves with, I'm always game to like just mess around with it, because I can spend a lot more time. Like there's a lot of different sections that you could kind of build out, and I don't have the time right now. So hope this was an enjoyable little video. Thanks for watching all. Happy coding.